Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we are going to be putting together a non-Anakin Skywalker fleet for Star Wars Armada. We're going to be focusing on Luminara Unduli, a powerful yet flawed Jedi Master from from the Republic, and I think we're going to have a good time with this one. I want to do a balanced fleet with her, and I feel like she's an important commander in the meta, and it's certainly a commander I don't talk enough about. So we're going to talk a little bit about Luminara, and then we're going to put together a fleet. So Luminara is a 25-point commander for the Republic. She says, while a friendly ship or unique squadron is defending after the spend defense token step, if it spent fewer than 2 defense tokens, it may either ready one of its defense tokens it did not spend, or choose another friendly ship at distance 1 to 5 and ready one of that ship's defense tokens. So there's a couple of things about this. She's really good at kind of preserving defense tokens from getting spent too often, but she's also really good at countering one of the bigger threats in the meta right now, which is your Sloan. Your Sloan TIE fighter. So, one of the biggest threats that that Sloan presents is that whole way to have a TIE fighter come in and roll an accuracy and spend one of your defense tokens, and then have the next TIE fighter come in and spend one of your defense tokens, and now all of a sudden it's gone, and they can, in one activation they can get through most of your biggest, baddest defense tokens and leave your flagship crippled. And Luminara has a wonderful kind of defense against that, and that it kind of completely shuts down Sloane's ability. Well, at least completely shuts down Sloane's worst ability, which is that spending that accuracy to get rid of the defense token. She doesn't really stop the whole ability to re-roll criticals, but that's not too bad. She kind of declaws Sloane a little bit. So figured we would go ahead and make a list with Luminara. And if you guys are new here to the channel, I do talk a lot about Star Wars Armada and other Star Wars tabletop games, a lot of tabletop games in general, and also some just other non-gaming Star Wars stuff as well. We're also doing a very big giveaway for a $100 Amazon gift card that's running all the way until Halloween, so you have plenty of time left to enter to win that. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to be using Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder today. So we're going to go through our ships, and we're going to start with a Venator 1. This will be our flagship, and I will go ahead and equip Luminara on the flagship there. And what we're going to do is we're going to give her some. See, it looks a black dice ship. I'm going to give her a couple of upgrades. We're going to start with the lovely Ordnance Experts. We'll get close enough, probably, to make those black dice count, to kind of make them hit a little bit harder. We'll put XI7s on there. Always a good upgrade. Classic upgrade, works really, really well. And for our black dice, I'm going to put Assault Proton Torpedoes. While we are going to have squadrons in this build, I want it to be a little balanced, and I want it to work well against ships that are fleets that don't have squadrons, but I also want it to have enough ship-to-ship firepower that I'm not relying completely on squadrons. However, we will be using 4 squadrons with defense tokens to try to maximize the benefit we get from Luminara here as well. All right, so what I'm going to do here, since we're running a Venator 1, we do have Fleet Command, I'm going to run Intensify Firepower. Not always the top pick on a squadron heavy build, but we are going to have 4 ships in this build, so we are going to get some value out of Intensify Firepower this time for sure. I'm also going to be running the Tranquility title. This is a tremendously good title. It also works pretty well with what Luminara has going on. It allows you to not have to spend so many defense tokens, and it gives you a little bit of a built-in way to shuffle around shields and maximize your shields without having to spend you redirect, or if your redirect is already spent, you can just let Tranquility do its thing and then get your redirect readied again, and you can do all of that, which is a very, very good thing. And I'm also going to be using the Hyperspace Rings. This is an upgrade I don't talk about a whole lot, but this is a really cool upgrade. It says, before deploying fleets, you may choose a number of friendly non-rogue squadrons up to your squadron value, and those squadrons gain Scout. At this point, I'm going to throw out some squadrons into the build. So, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up with the rest of the ships. So we have a number of really good options, and I'm going to start off with Anakin Skywalker. The new Rapid Reinforcements, Anakin Skywalker, he's insane. He is a scatter ace, so of course that will be certainly nice. You know, he has scatter and brace, and if your opponents really do kind of come down on him pretty hard, Luminara will allow him to, you know, kind of stay alive a little bit longer. And if he scatters and then gets attacked again and then braces, then he can get the scatter back and all of that good stuff. So, you know, it kind of helps him survive focused fire just a little bit more. Of course, an accuracy will shut that down, but still pretty cool. We're also going to run well, I wanted to run escorts, and I was going to run escorts that happen to have defense tokens. So I'm running ace escorts here. We're going to run axe and kickback. This is going to mean that basically I'm going to force people to attack these guys, and guess what? They're going to be able to get those braces and stuff readied and you know and kind of kicking just a little bit quicker, which I think is always a fun thing. And of course, they have some abilities themselves, like you know, you can kickback gets to move, and axe can reduce damage, and so that's good. They're going to be you know, protecting the whole fleet a little bit more. For our last named, we are going to use the new and completely stupidly broken Matchstick. Matchstick is insane, and he's just nuts. He's got while you're unengaged, friendly squadrons that with bomber at distance 1 gain rogue. Now you have to, that happens when you're in play. You know, those abilities take effect once you're already on the board, so he doesn't actually have rogue before you deploy him, so you are actually able to drop him off with hyperspace rings, which is just ridiculous. We'll also add a couple of Arc 170s. Now you can fit 4 in this build. That's 131 points. But to make the 4 ship thing go, I'm only going to run 2 Arc 170s. If you are looking at doing a build like this, you can certainly min-max a little bit more on the squadrons, and you could run 4 Arc 170s. That would totally work. It would, you know, definitely work a little bit better with Matchstick, but I wanted to have a 4th ship activation, and so I kind of had to trim a few points. So we are going to go with only 2 Arc 170s. You might be able to trim the fat a little bit and drop some upgrades and go with a 3rd Arc 170 and still squeeze 4 ships in there. But I went with this because I wanted to have also 6 rounds of ships going. Or 6 squadrons. So that's going to be how we're looking for squadrons. Now, we're going to go into additional ships at this point. We are going to use 2 Consular C-70s. This is a great ship that's going to work in this build for a number of reasons. Not for its squadron potential, but for their ability to work with objectives and for their ability to double arc and really take advantage of that intensify firepower. If you have your Consular C-70s, you know, double arcing your opponent, it's going to be a lot of consistent damage output that's happening from these guys. They're actually a pretty good ship, and they have dice all over the place. You know, they can be one-shotted. It's kind of easy, but if you can keep them at long range, then they have a little bit of survivability and can really throw a lot of dice and a lot of consistent damage with intensify firepower in the build. So I like that much. And then we're going to add a Pelta. We're going to go with a Pelta medical frigate. This one is going to help with the squadron activations and also serve as another ship. We've got a little bit of shooting power on this one too. We've got 2 red and a blue in the front, very similar to the C-70. Not quite as good dice on the side, but slightly better dice in the rear, although hopefully we're not taking too many rear shots. Now, this is a slower ship, but it's got more hull, a little more shields, and it has a brace token, which is really cool. We're going to put some upgrades on this one. We are also going to add the hyperspace rings to the Pelta as well to give us almost all of our ships. Now, between the Venator and the Pelta, we have enough hyperspace rings right now to be able to get all of our squadrons in there, with the exception of just 1. And so we can drop everybody except for Anakin, and Anakin's fast enough so he can just fly and catch up to them on their own. But it gives us a lot of options with that. I'm also going to add the title to our medical frigate, we're going to add the TB-73. That's going to give us an extra defense token, make this guy a little bit more survivable. We're going to give him Bomber Command Center to help those ARC 170s, really do their work. And I'm going to throw in the Auxiliary Shields team, since I think, if my opponent doesn't have many squadrons, and I'm able to obliterate squadrons quickly, and Anakin is definitely a good way to be able to do that. I think they're going to be trying to kill my Bomber Command Center fairly quickly. And so if I can start off doing Engineering Command and bump each of those sides up to 3, then I'll have 3-3-3 all around. That's pretty good for a 5-hull ship. I really like that kind of profile. We'll have 2 evades, a brace, and a redirect. That's 4 defense token, 3 shields all around except for the rear. It's not bad. Not bad. Pretty tough for a 49-point ship. Well, I guess 68 once we add in all those upgrades. Now that does bring us to 400 points. We're looking at a Venator, 2 Consulars, and a Pelta. Just over 100 points of squadrons. We're kind of in that mid-level. This is kind of a moderately well-balanced sort of fleet. We're going to go down and look at our objectives at this point. Now we do have 4 shooting ships, so we could do something like opening salvo. That is definitely a possibility. At the same time, that it also runs the risk of losing C-70s possibly at long range. So I'm not super crazy about that, but I do like it, especially for the upgrades that we have on our fleet. So I'm going to run opening salvo. I think I think Luminara's flagship here with the intensified firepower, and then the ordnance experts rolling black dice at long range with assault proton torpedoes and getting re-rolls on them and being able to guarantee a hit is just going to kind of work pretty well for that. So I like that idea. For our since we're not we don't have a tremendous amount of deployments, but we're kind of in the middle. On this one, I'm going to go with I like fire lanes. I like knowing where everything is going to be taking place. I don't think we are really strong for fire lanes, so I feel like it could go between fire lanes and we could use a lot of these other ones. Fighter ambush might not be terrible. That was not a terrible one at all here, since we can have squadrons attack. But this, again, since I'm not maxed on squadrons, I'm like, this one could bite me in the butt if I go up against a very, very strong ship presence there. I do like the idea of planetary ion cannon here, just because it's nothing that could end up hurting me, and it's only something that's going to help me, and it's just an extra attack against my opponent. And I kind of like it, so we're gonna go with that. It's a safe one, and this is blue is always a really interesting one. A lot of times this is what gets picked. I like the idea of dangerous territory here because I don't really have anything to deal with obstacles, to address obstacles, and so this means I'm not going to suffer at all if I overlap something, which I really like. And then I have 2 of the Charger C-70s to run around and just play obstacle hunter, so victory point hunters. So I'm going to go with that one for this build. But I feel like this is kind of a well-balanced build. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got a little bit of a lot in the build. So I thought that's a fun one. Let's see what we've got here. That's going to be kind of a good look at the list right there. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. That's going to do it for this build. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Big thanks to my patrons as well. You guys are absolutely amazing. If you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the links in the description below. You can also join our Discord and come hang out and keep the discussion going there. I want to thank you so much. May the Force be with you. Have an excellent day, and I'll see you next time.